Hi, everybody.
There's Jerry.
Barry's been in the business for quite some time and is also a totally blind vendor.
Yep.
Without further ado, Barry loves to chat it up, so go for it, Barry.
Okay. I'm going to start, Jerry. Thank you as always. It's always fun. I never know what time I'm going to get messages from him, and he doesn't know when he's getting them from me. We are a company called Guidelights and Gadgets, and we are based out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, although I'm originally for 40 years in Boston. I'm actually a retired lawyer who in 2003 was looking at a lot of assistive technology stuff, which was very, very expensive. And some of you are old enough to remember the introduction of the first Victor Stream. And the one thing that we loved about the first Victor Stream is, of course, that we could play audiobooks. The one thing we didn't love was the volume or lack thereof on the unit. And it got me to the point where I said, look, I've done all these businesses. I've actually built a lot of companies as a lawyer and entrepreneur. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go over to China and we're going to figure out a way to solve this problem, which led me onto a 2-year odyssey of, among other things, introducing the first talking prescription bottle patent, the first infrared talking thermometer, and a miniature little egg-shaped speaker that plugged right into the headphone jack of the Victor Stream. Well, we did this stuff for about 4 or 5 years. And I took sort of going through life-changing, retiring, and a bunch of other things. And then in 2013, my wife, Kay, and I were sitting and thinking, she loves guide dog stuff. Anything, we call it everything dog, whether it's toys, safety product, grooming products. So we said, all right, you like dogs, I like gadgets. Guidelight was the name of her first dog. Well, the dog was named Melody, but Melody was her guide light, leading her everywhere. So we decided to form a company called Guidelights and Gadgets. And 7 years later, we're supposed to be in retirement, but for some strange reason, I'm working 50 hours a week. What we do are 3 things, and what we're known for are 3 things. The first line is I will call a bunch of low-tech items that I use every day, whether it's various kinds of speakers, headphones, cables, things that work well and easily for blind people. Because there is nothing more frustrating than ordering something and then being able not to do it. We are now in talking medical products, and I'm going to spend some time talking about that in a minute, because that's actually been one of the most exciting things that's happened to us in the last bunch of years. We also do, and this started out by accident also, about 60 to 70% of our business is in leather products, bags, pouches for carrying your phone, without needing to use your hands, like neck pouches, which is our most popular item that about 700 people use with Ira and Be My Guys. Yes, you own one of those, Jerry, I think.
I do.
And if it's anything also, if you need to protect something safely with a braille display, we've probably got something that will fit it. Actually, our most recent addition about 5 days ago is something that really gladdened my heart. Somebody had asked me about a year ago to find a product that he wanted a concealed weapon compartment, believe it or not. A blind guy who did, good friend, or I wouldn't do this otherwise. But we have a relationship. One of our many leather manufacturing wholesale relationships is with a motorcycle company. And they actually make motorcycle accessories, and they make them in Myrtle Beach because we are one of the motorcycle capitals of the United States. Well, 4 years ago, blindies met bikers, and it was a very strange day. But out of that has grown a relationship. They make the best leather products in the world, according to that, I think, because they're capable of being thrown from a bike. And as a result, they better be pretty hard. I mean, they make a phone case they call the toughest case in America. But last week, we were looking in their store, and my wife saw something and said, what is this? It's got a concealed carry weapons permit in it. What it also was something shaped like a book that you opened in the middle with padding on both sides. That is it looks like a little book about 8 by 10 inches, and it's the perfect home for a 20-cell braille display with a wrist strap and a crossbody. And I'm like, yep, this is going into the arsenal. So it did. Lots of different leather things. I'm going to start. So it's leather, it's gadgets, and it's electronics. I'm going to start with a couple of medical products first, and I'll give contact information probably at the end. That's probably just as easy. The reason the medical product stuff excites me is in 2005, I introduced the first infrared talking thermometer. I had it made in China. It wasn't 100% accurate by a long shot. And we had just gotten it in to the CVS stores when whoops, I think we got some background. Okay. We just gotten it into CVS because I had relationships there in my days as a healthcare person. And the next thing I know, I had a cease and desist lawsuit from a competitor because they claimed we had taken their patent or reverse engineered it. That's really too bad because I couldn't defend a patent lawsuit. It's too expensive. So we basically had to pull our product just after getting it into a major chain with really their first talking product. And the Hammaker Schlemmer people weren't happy either because we had to pull it from their catalog. So we had done all that. And then for the next 15 years, I have watched every inaccurate talking thermometer come on the market. I have a drawer full of them. And most of them never give the same temperature 3 times in a row. Well, particularly with COVID, we really needed some accurate medical talking equipment. And I ended up, again, it's usually an accident where this happens, but I ended up running into a product that we sourced back to a company. And it turns out they're a pretty hard company to source because they do not sell retail. They do not sell on the internet. They do not sell on Amazon. They are a commercial grade medical device company that happens to make a superb line of talking products. The first one, the most important one to me, is their non-contact infrared talking thermometer. And I'm going to show you just how accurate this thing is. We're going to look, basically you hold it about 1 inch from your forehead, you push the trigger.
Your body temperature is 97.8 Fahrenheit degrees.
All right, we're going to do a second time so you see this thing does what it says.
Your body temperature is 97.8 Fahrenheit degrees.
When I saw that, and this looks like a little gun, unfortunately, which we had some trouble with getting one through customs one day, because it almost looks like a big squirt gun, but it goes on automatically. You don't have to set anything. You push the button and then it turns itself off. They are $50, and frankly, some talking thermometers are a lot more expensive, but this is about as accurate as you can get. Along with this, they also make an excellent talking blood pressure unit. Couple of things that distinguish it because there's a lot on the market. Number one, it has a USB port, so you don't necessarily need to find an AC adapter when you use it. It uses batteries as well, but sometimes if you don't have the batteries and you want to plug it in, just plug it into a USB port on your computer. Number two, it has an extremely oversized display for any partial vision stuff. And the third thing is that most of these, this is not a wrist unit. This is an actual blood cabinet. This is like they use in the doc office. But the thing that really I found easiest is many of them have very long cables that go from the blood pressure cuff to the unit. Those things tangle. This thing is a max 18 inches long. You roll the thing up. It's not the easiest to get on the first time. You got to learn a little bit, but one size fits all. Most blood pressure units come with 2 cuffs, or you need a second cuff that you got to buy because they either come in small, medium, or large, extra large. This thing goes from the size of basically your finger to, as somebody told me I said, how large is your arm? She says, you don't want to know. I said, it'll fit it, and it did. So these are both $50 units for blood pressure, and we're having them try to work on a talking oxygen level meter called an oximeter. And I hope in the next year they do something for that, because the one that's out there, frankly, is not very good that talks. I had somebody call me up and tell me that they had just used it and told them they were dead. That's not a good idea. So, all right, those are the thermometers. I'm going to move to something else now, and I'm going to move to some electronic items that we're known for. We have become known for a category of products called sound boxes. And what a sound box is, it's a simple, no wires, look, no hands, ma, needed way to amplify anything you are using, whether it's your phone, whether it's a Victor Stream, and there's a whole bunch of models. The beauty of it, these are tiny portable devices that you put underneath whatever you're trying to amplify. And for example, with the Stream, if you're cooking in the kitchen and you want to keep your Stream out of range and put it on a counter and you want to have enough volume to hear it over whatever, you know, machines or equipment you're running, this is an amazing little device. I'm going to turn one on. I'm going to start some music playing for a minute.
Bookshelf. Music. 1. Book. Volume. 11. Please wait.
And in one another's favor,
Now,
we hold hands across
not very loud. Watch this.
sing many voices of the shadows and light.
This is not a trick.
You told me a story.
I didn't change the volume at all. And these things use 4 AA batteries. There are probably 6 different models ranging from about $30 to $65. And that actually is the least expensive model. That is what I call the ordinary plebeian model. And you just literally put this thing on it and it will amplify. It's even worked with an Echo Dot, although I don't really recommend it because it may not be big enough. It's about 7 inches long, 2 inches wide, 2 inches high. It uses a button. The only thing is, the only way you know whether it's on or off in this case, there is a light on it, but otherwise you just have to try the device. So there's a line of these that use AA batteries, which are great because they give lots and lots of hours of use. But for people who want something that's rechargeable and may look a little nicer, there's actually a series of wooden ones. And the wooden ones use rechargeable batteries. They actually have an on-off switch, so you can tell if it's on or off. The sound quality, frankly, is not that. The wooden ones tend to use provide more bass. They're a little bit more expensive, but basically they all do the same thing. Now, some models are about 5 inches long, some are 7.5. The ones at 7.5 are going to have a little more bass to them. The ones that are 5 inches long, which is this was made in 2011, by the way. It was first put on the market, and the company pulled it after 2 years because they didn't sell a lot of them. And there's been some imitators, but basically the originals are gone. I have some of the original units that were made by a company called iFrogs, you may have heard of. iFrogs makes great audio equipment. And the thing they make, to me, it's plastic, it's small, but it's by far the best amplified box. Although actually the one I showed you, which is the least expensive of it, is a very, very good substitute. There's also a stereo unit, which I won't demonstrate, but the one thing it does do, it requires a little bit more tolerance in placing your device to be played on the box. You have to move it around a bit to get the location, but you can set your right and left speaker so that you've really got a really good audio effect. That one is wider. It's like a low profile device, and it uses AA's, and it actually does a pretty good job with an Echo Dot because it's so big. So those are sound boxes. The next place I'm going to go is about 5 years ago. I ran into a company that was in China that was manufacturing the competitor to the Victor Stream and the BookSense from HIMS at that time, or the Blaze ET as it became. It's a talking book. It's a talking book player. It's a book reader. I told them, you've got a lot of ways to go to get this fixed. I bought them. I met the people who own the Chinese company, and I started meeting with them every year when they came to the States. And I kept telling them, when you get to the point of making this product truly work, we'll do something about it, because it's about $170 cheaper than the Victor Stream. Last year, they did what I wanted. In the Evo 10, that's what it's called, EVO 10, it contains an internet radio, a podcatcher, an FM radio, a calculator, a compass, an ability to edit your recordings using an audio sound editor, and a whole lot more. And that it does not do NLS. It will never do Bard. They did not want to spend the time and effort to do that. But for people who use bscheur books, because it uses the Ivona voices, which I'll show you in a second, it is truly amazing for its sound quality. Let me see if I can get this thing working for a sec. It's also about 2/3 the size of the stream.
1,000 books to read before you die. 9,781,523,505,128. Folder connected to bscheur. 1,000 books to read before you go to file. 1,000 books to read before you die. Daisy file.
This will play any Daisy, it will, and Daisy audio as well. So it's pretty amazing for the
Opening
quality
files.
of voice.
Please wait.
Let's get some reading here.
The only advice, indeed, that one person can give another about reading is to take no advice, to follow your own instincts, to use your own reason, to come to your own conclusions. If this
That to me is an amazing quality for an audio reading. Ivona, it has both male and female Ivona voices. Ivona are the voices that Amazon owns and uses in some of their products. So this is it has a lot of different things you can do with it. We partner a lot with a company that a couple of you may have heard of called Mystic Access. They do great tutorials. Chris Grabowski, he's changed his name. It's now Chris Nova because he's getting married this fall. But Chris and his partner, Kim, they do a great job. They produced an 11-hour tutorial for this product that comes with it. So for $170 less than the stream, you're getting all of those capabilities. It is called the Evo 10, and we actually throw in a whole bunch of stuff with it: a leather case, a couple of SD cards that come with it, as well as 2 different pair of headphones, because the phones that the company supplies are not as good as I would like. For the money, it's a great value. It does a lot of things, and we're finally happy that the company did what I asked them to do. It just took them 6 years to do it. All right, let me move away from the leather products for a bit. I want to check how we're doing with time, which is
2:19.
perfect. Okay, I'm going to move into leather products because with leather, again, what we do, we have relationships with 3 major leather manufacturers. And what they do is they all do different things. One of them does what I will call everyday leather products. I mean, they're very high quality, but there's stuff, for example, they do wallets. They do something which we become incredibly popular for, which is a thing called a squeezy. And so we are old enough to remember the change purses that used to squeeze the top and they would open. Well, they've turned into be really useful for cables, earbuds, SD cards, any kind of thing you want to sort. They're about 3 by 3 inches, and they are a very secure way of putting stuff and sorting it. So we carry them. We also carry them with earbuds in them, because about 3 years ago, I made the mistake of buying 500 pairs of I Love high quality earbuds from a wholesaler. I'm down to my last third of them, but it's great because we package them as $10 a package with the squeezy, or we lower for quantity. So it's like if you like 4 for $40 or 5 for $40 if you want packages. So people buy headphones, they buy squeezies, but it's a really easy way to keep stuff sorted out. Another thing that sort of took on a life of its own were fanny packs or waist packs. I kept having people tell me, find the best quality waist pack that you can get. Also, it needs to hold a 14.5-inch cane. I'm going, okay, it's going to go all the way around your body. Well, we buy a lot of stuff that we don't sell. It's my way to finding out what works and what doesn't. We are really fortunate that 2 of our leather manufacturers produce really extensively high quality waist packs. And they are both 17.5 inches long. They have 7 pockets. They are big enough not only to hold a 20-cell braille display, some of them will hold a 32-cell braille display. And they are really rugged and safe. It's a very high quality leather material they use. We don't sell anything that isn't real leather. We don't sell any faux stuff. It's got to be real, and it's got to work. We actually sell a lot of bags that are cowhide, which I'll talk about in a minute. So waist packs became sort of a specialty of our own, and we actually have something that Kay and I both really like. We call it a banana pack because it's actually a semicircle. But what's good about it is it's small enough that you could wear it easily, but it's big enough to carry your phone, perhaps an audio book player, perhaps obviously keys, wallet, whatever, and even a couple, dog treats, whatever you're carrying with it. And that's also the cheapest of our packs. Our waist packs range anywhere from $25 to $60, and we have quite a number with different features. I'm going to move to bags for a second. I'm going to take a detour because Jerry started to say something. We are one of the 2 national dealers for Orbit Research, and Orbit is, some of you know, are the lowest cost Braille displays. They have very good Braille quality. The company that turned Braille on its head when they produced a Braille display that first sold for $599 for a 20 cell. Well, they have now really 2 models. They have a 20 plus, which does have a translator, unlike their original model. They have just introduced a 40 for $1,399 for 40 cells, which is truly amazing. We have bags to go along with in cases with every one of their models. They also are the company that made a really neat Perkins style keyboard, no Braille display, that you can use with your iPhone, which you carry it with you, carry it around, take it out while you're walking. And we actually made a case that you can use with it on the go. We made our own case in conjunction with one of our partners. So you can actually wear it around your neck and you can carry it. I was also talking before, and those cases are about, well, it's actually a phone case that we adapt with a layer of commercial Velcro. And so the phone case by itself is 20, and the Velcro adapting case for the Orbit Writer is 35, I think. The most popular thing we've done in leather is our neck pouches, because many people want to use something that they can use the camera outside the phone. They can call Be My Eyes Arriver. They are $15 pouches. They are incredibly soft but sturdy leather. And you can buy lanyards for $25. It's just, again, we buy wholesale, we buy in bulk, and we've got some really good partners that make that happen. We do a line of, well, I guess I will call them any bag that just about fits any use you might have. Everything from what I will call laptop cases, or cases where you really, it's almost like a large messenger bag case with lots of compartments and ruggedness. It's made by Embassy, which is a good and well-known leather company. And this is sort of, if I'm going somewhere and I want to carry a laptop and a Braille display and everything else, it goes in this bag. It's a crossbody. It's really heavy duty leather. And for $50, it's about the best bargain we've ever seen. The last thing I'm going to talk about, and there's lots of other leather products, and if you've got a need, you can always talk to us, because if it's for a particular use that involves leather, we've probably got it. But about 3 years ago, while we were walking through a warehouse, I pulled a bag off the shelf, and it had a lot of pockets, and it was about 8 by 10 inches. It was a shoulder bag. It was a crossbody. But what I really noticed were all of these separate 2 main compartments. It looked like it would fit a 20 cell Braille display and was really rugged and durable. So we brought one up to a friend of ours for a house present when we were going up to visit. So she fills it up, and a couple of weeks later, she throws it back at me, except it's got 10 pounds of stuff in it. So basically, we decided to call it the everything bag, or the football, because it hit me when she threw it. And that everything bag is a $35 bag that is about as rugged and as a bargain as we have yet found. It's adaptable to most stuff that you would want to carry. Again, and it's even for that price, it's not cheap leather, very good quality stuff. So between a lot of bags for leather, a lot of different gadget options, if somebody wants something, I will find it. Because, like, for example, I am a nut about single earphones. The reason being that if we're out on the street, I don't want to have both ears sort of taken up with wearing a headset. As a matter of fact, if anybody on the phone uses bone conduction headphones, we made our own 3 years ago because I didn't like Aftershok's, the price they were charging. So again, I went into China, found a partner. We're out of them, unfortunately, and the company doesn't want to do any more production, especially now, given all the things we've had to deal with in the last year. But we made a whole bunch of those. We made the first talking power bank for your phone that tells you how much it's charged, or if the device basically doesn't have any charge in it. Unfortunately, all 300 of those sold out. And actually, some of you may have heard Roger last week. I brought Roger into this as a partner to take a few more of them so we could ease the production cost, because it was about a $10,000 gamble. I am looking at going back into that. We do need a talking power bank. I get pleas of anguish at night where people are calling me and saying, you need to find me another one of these. So we're going to work on it probably sometime this summer and get another one done. I want to stop for a minute. I want to take a couple questions if anybody's got them, but I want to give some contact info. We do not sell using e-commerce over the web. We have a website. It's descriptive of many of our products, not all of them. Actually, I think Kay's done a better job with the dog side of it than I've kept the gadget stuff updated, because we change stuff so frequently. It's a little bit hard, but it's a pretty good way of looking at what we do. And it is Guide Lights and Gadgets, www.us, not .com, .us. You go to .com, I don't know what you're going to run into. We used to have that one, but basically the US has turned out to be more secure for us. So that's one way. You can browse product. If you want to order, we either have to talk to you by email or over the phone. And there's a reason for that. 4 years ago, the reason I took us off e-commerce was that I discovered that a lot of people were buying stuff who were blind, who didn't really know what they were getting. They got it and saying, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure I really want this. And our return ratio was about 30%, not because of the product, but because if you don't feel it, you don't really know what it is. And you know, if you don't do live conventions every week, there's a challenge. Well, I don't want that, because there are a lot of vendors out there who simply have a policy, well, we won't take it back because you opened it. Well, I can't do that. So what we ended up doing is saying, number one, you're going to need to either talk to Kay or me, and I will give contact info in a sec. But number two, you may want to buy a product that after talking to you about it, I don't think it's going to work for you. For example, if you've got a hearing issue, I'm not going to sell you certain headphones because I know they're going to be not loud enough. Or I may steer you towards something that'll work with a particular, way of using it because it's effective. If you tell me your use, we can usually figure out what we have. And I get a great deal of satisfaction from talking people out of products rather than into them, because in a way, look, all of us, many of us are on fixed incomes. Many of us economically have been stretched. And the last thing we need to do is waste money. So you have to talk to either one of us. And the phone numbers, actually, let me do emails first. K is guidelightdogs@gmail.com. Everything dog, or as our motto says, happiness wags. And for me, it's simply bscheur@scheur.com. And Scheur is SCHEUR. So it is bscheur@scheur.com. Phone numbers, for me, it's 617-969-7500. That's the main Guide Lights number. If you want K for dog products, it's 781-286-1696. That's a pretty quick overview. If anybody has a question, and guys, you can help them unmute, we'll take. Otherwise, this has been fun, and I thank all of you for listening.
Hi, Barry, it's Jerry.
Yep.
I wondered if the blood pressure one cuff that you were talking about is the one that makes music when it takes the blood.
No, it thank God it doesn't.
Oh, I like, you can turn that off, but I
Oh,
like
good.
it. I have one very similar to the one you're talking about and makes music. It's pretty good.
Actually, I've tested about 7 models of blood pressure units.
Mm-hmm.
We have found 2 that are extremely accurate. We carry both. One is the one from our medical products company. The other is basically a generic brand, but They have worked both well. And again, a lot of these units go on and off the market, and that's sort of the issue. You want to make sure that what you're getting is something you can get 3 years from now. I haven't seen the music one, but if it's accurate, that's a good thing, because a lot of them aren't. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. That's great. I really appreciate you know, I learned stuff about your companies that I didn't know. So I'm glad you came on.
Well, that's a good
So,
thing, my friend. And
yeah.
we have a scheduled date on Monday anyway. So
Yes, sir.
that's yes,
Yes.
sir. Good. All right.
All right. Yep.
Any question with anybody, or we are in good shape? I think we're in good shape.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Yep. All right. Take care. Have a good rest of the week. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.